So let's move on to one of the main chat points of today, the Night Mayor of Groningen. How the hell did this come about? Because this blew me away. You started being the nightmare, which obviously a very different meaning in the UK when we talk about nightmare. It's something quite scary. But you started this in October 2018, didn't you? Tell me about the story from how you got there to where you are now.
Yeah, well, already before I was being the Night Mayor, and in British, Nightmare, Night Mayor, sounds like very similar. And I might be the nightmare for the people that want to sleep and that don't want any party in their city. But I was, I think, around 2016, got a bit more. Also, when the first subsonic ended, got a bit more involved in the policy side of events and permissions and local governments and yeah, some things that some people might see as a bit boring. But in the end, you need all those boring aspects to ensure that there is room for talent development, for people having a good time, and to bring the stakeholders together. Because the night kind of consists of three groups that do not understand each other, but still need each other. And they need a kind of a mediator, which is the night mayor. So the first group is officials, governmental people, politicians, public servants, people that have to deal with the night. The second group is the professionals making their money in the night. So that's bar owners, DJs, bar staff, cleaners, bouncers at the door, all those people making their money in the night, the professionals. The third group is the people enjoying the night, expressing themselves, not having a stake in it, except for the fact that they need the night to relax, to blow off steam after a hard week of work, to meet new people, to enjoy new music. But those three different groups all have a different view on the night. In the end, they kind of want the same, a safe night where everyone has a good time and where some money, economy-wise, is generated and where people discover and search their own boundaries, maybe even. So, as a night mayor, I think it's your task to bring them together, to speak the language of all three, and see how they can find each other and get along a bit more. And in 2018, I was elected for this, and I already was in some talking groups between venues and the local government and the rehearsal spaces and that kind of stuff. So it wasn't a new world to me. And I did a fellowship program of the European Music Council, which is like an umbrella organization from classical conservatory groups towards music export funds. So it's like a very big network. And there I learned speaking a bit of that more official language and realized that the policy made in the EU and in the Netherlands also allows raves and techno DJs, for instance, to thrive. So there's a whole network which I find fascinating. And by having that knowledge and being also in the Pop Coalition, which is kind of an advisory board to the Dutch government, got a bit in that role. Then I was elected as a night mayor. And after 1 year, I found out, okay, I need to have a board around me because on my own, I can't do this all. I need some more information from people that are deeper in specific topics. So we started the Nachtraad, the Night Council, initially with 13 people. It was a bit based on the Berlin Club Commission. But of course, Groningen is a bit smaller and 13 people is way too much. So now we have 6 others around me that all, like a minister, have a task. So for instance, Misha is taking care of responsible alcohol and drug use among students or party audiences. Lucia, who used to work as a bar lady in my club, take care of the prevention of sexual harassment in the nightlife. Jorik, taking care of the live music. Peter, the underground dance, the LGBTQ. Anastasia, the international audience of Groningen. And Geeske, she works in a more mainstream club, responsible for the more regular bars and the mainstream thing. And in this way, we cover kind of the whole scope of the Groningen night and do workshops for students, for bar staff, that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of the spokesperson of it and keeping the thing together.
Excellent. So what kind of problems do you face being the nightmare then? What do you come across and the hurdles that you have to get over regular?
Well, everyone is always complaining about everything. So you need to be willing to get some hate. And also sometimes have an unpopular opinion because, you know, it's important to speak out on specific things. You can't make everyone happy, which is fine. And sometimes you talk to groups that both approach from a very different angle. And also in the COVID time, that was sometimes quite difficult because some people said, no, we need strong measures because it's super dangerous. And other people said like, come on, this is only affecting old and fat people. We should just party. And you need to be somewhere like without doing a compromise for everything so that you don't have an opinion, but also not putting yourself in a corner that nobody takes you serious. So it's you need to be quite diplomatic and being able to dare say things that not everyone might enjoy, and also keeping all the different groups with their own demands in line, kind of. So it's and I also learned by trial and error, and I think I like it. Also in the international network of people that do it in their own city. I've been in quite some conferences where we gather last November in Zurich. Had people from all over Europe discussing these kind of topics, and it was so nice to be able to speak to people that understand both the cultural side as the health side as the business side. There's not so many people that work on those different fields with the night as a whole, and therefore it was great to exchange knowledge and form. We have also the Dutch Nighttime Alliance, where we form a unity with 9 Dutch cities: Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, Nijmegen, Leiden, Haarlem, Eindhoven, Groningen, and Utrecht. And in this way we try to exchange what we've learned instead of reinventing the wheel, making our nights safer. Amsterdam just got a new night mayor last week, and together we hope to generate more money for the development of the night, for the safety. We're currently also fighting for the Night City Hall, the Nachtstadhuis in Dutch, a place in the city center where you can get help if you've been sexually harassed, or if you need information about responsible use of substances, or if you want to file in a complaint if you've been discriminated at the door, or it could be all kinds of things in a preventive way or in a way when it just happened that you get help, and so that there is a safe space in the city center where also parents from students that just got in city know that if something goes wrong, they will get help, or preventively things won't go wrong. And that's something we're really fighting for to get a budget now. We already presented it to the local politicians. They had some remarks. We're reshaping the plan a bit, and then hope to push it through before summer.
So is that centre open now? Because I know this is one of your new projects as well, isn't it? Like you said, to get the funding on this. Is this something that's open now and you're waiting for funding to carry it on, or are you waiting for funding to start?
The place is now being renovated. So if we get funding, the plan is to open in November, December, because then it would be ready. Then we can hire staff in the summer, and start it and fully present it in Eurosonic January. So that's and currently we're good on track.
Excellent. And you actually said you met some of the nightmares as well, then.
Many. And some cities have a club commission, so it's not always a night mayor. For instance, in Berlin, it wouldn't be good for such a big city like Berlin to have a night mayor, because nobody can represent such a diverse big city with so many organizations and people, and therefore it's better that they have a club commission.
So they are around the world as well. They're not just
from Queensland to Bogota, New York. The network is really growing.
Yeah, like a selection of superheroes. So like the Avengers when you come together, basically, isn't it? All the nightmares and taking care of everybody in the clubbing community.
Yeah, it was really fun how during COVID the network really tightened, because people saw, hey, we all fight for this nightlife. Then when you don't have it anymore, you see how valuable it is to keep people together. Also, people with very opposing visions, when they're on a dance floor with a beer, they suddenly get along pretty well, while debates could get very heated in those times. So then we really saw how we needed the night as a unifying factor. And the people all in a different way. And there's academics, city planners, rave organizers, venue owners. There's a lot of different people, but all with the same thing in common, that they want to make the night better, create more room for talent, better fees for artists, more safety for women or for everyone that feels unsafe. And that's united, and that movement is growing. Even, let's say, Christian conservative parties in governments are seeing the benefit of it.